Sure. Obviously, just very disappointing loss for us tonight. It was a game, a little bit of ebbs and flows, and I think tied at halftime, and we knew that it was going to be basically 0-0 coming out. Got a little lead, and for us, two areas, just turnovers. We gave them the ball too many times, especially late when they're able to go walk it in and get some layups. Other areas of just we needed to get one of those final stops and a score to tie up the game, and we never could quite do that. And we put that on ourselves a little bit because we feel like we need to be a little tougher in those moments. But a lot to take away, a lot to learn from this game, I think. And I think there's a lot that we're going to get better at from this. I prefer to get better from winning, but that's not the case tonight.
Any questions?
Purely coach, uncanny 24 turnovers. I mean, that was one of the biggest stats I saw tonight overall, was that the turnovers are big time.
Yeah, I think it's just a little, we want to be really mature in some of those moments of just we take off, we travel. We had some travels, we had just little things, probably 6 to 7 that, have nothing to do with even like a live ball or trying to make a pass, just on our own of getting a little bit too sped up. So if you're handing the other team the ball, it's going to be really, really tough to win those games. And I think we'll go back on film and watch it because I'm just speaking from what I remember, and that's probably not enough. I know they were changing their defenses quite a bit throughout the game, but I still think some of that stuff was on us of just taking care of the ball and valuing it.
You applied the full court press a couple times. You were successful a few times, but they found a way to break it. So do you think maybe that was something else that was probably key down the stretch that they found a way to break that full court press?
I think you're not going to get steals and traps and stuff. That's not why we do it every single time. That we're not doing it to always turn people over. It's to be disruptive, to keep people uncomfortable. And yes, there was times that they were able to break through or get maybe past us. I don't think that hurt us as much as our own turnovers at the end, or just that we had that, I think it was an 8-point lead, and we ended up calling a timeout, but just we allowed them to close that gap. And those were wide open looks, and those wide open looks eventually get you in trouble, and that's kind of what happened to us tonight.
I mean, kind of like how you're explaining with the turnovers, and especially them knowing how to close you guys out a little bit in the first and second half. But it just seems like you guys would start up, and then all of a sudden it would just go away right then and there when you guys start scoring. What's the takeaway on that, where you guys can build on that to not let that happen, and when you guys start the momentum to keep it going?
Yeah, it's a great question. We talk about it a lot as a team. We want to, avoid the peaks and valleys of playing the game like this. We're trying to streamline it, and we actually want to feel better about the game as we go. I mean, I know just the game of basketball, there's going to be some runs to our advantage and runs to our disadvantage, so we want to squash those. But the peaks and valleys are what we need to work through as a team and steady ourselves a little bit. But you can't get in a flow and a rhythm if you turn the ball over too much. Little things like that. I mean, I thought we had some wide open looks that we just missed. And then late, we just probably need to execute a little bit better down the stretch too.
Tatum, everybody on the team, it just seems like it was an aggressive game, not only in the paint, but also outside. What do you kind of have to talk with your team to control that type of movement in the game where a team is playing fast and they're going to attack you fast in that press, as they did today? How do you control with your team and talk to your team about to be calm and to prevent loose fouls or loose turnovers like that?
Yeah, I'd definitely say in the beginning we were fouling a lot, so that was something we had to fix after halftime. But our main focus these past couple of weeks have been our connectivity and our flow, so just knowing what we're flowing into and knowing what offense we're running, I think that really helps with after we break their press, like getting right into it, like what's coming next. So I think that's...
And then Coach, finally, I believe a positive from here at least is 37 rebounds from you guys, especially coming from an eye off the bench with 16. How can you guys build off of that to where you see that now to kind of just pull little adjustments from this game and to keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, well, we shot 34% for the game, so there's going to be more rebounds to be had, if that makes sense. We had 15 offensive rebounds, but we only had 10 second chance points out of all of that. So we were rebounding the ball, we probably were not converting them into points like we needed to. And they did a good job. They had 2 and 3 people on our post at times. They were disruptive, even though maybe it wasn't a height thing. It was just there's 2 or 3 people guarding, our 4s or 5s. So we always want to win the rebounding battle, but then some of it's like percentage based too. They shot a much higher percentage than we did, so they probably have less opportunities as well to like go rebound, if that makes sense too.
Oh, yeah,
So
for sure.
it's a give and take.
And finally for Tatum, as a team, its first loss of the season. Now you're 3-1. How do you guys go into the next game, even maybe coming off a disappointing loss like tonight, but to go in and to get right back on board?
Like you said, it's the next game. This game's done. There's nothing we can do about it. So just rolling into the next couple of weeks, we don't want to let it snowball. So we crush it now, fix what we need to fix, and move on.
You guys have done a great job of controlling the tempo in the 3 games prior. What do you think that kind of like was disrupted tonight in the game?
I mean, one of the things, that's easy to look at is like how many assists you have. Assists show, is the ball moving? Are we getting great shots? Are we helping each other get the great shots? And, in moments, that ball wasn't moving and we were not as crisp as we needed to be. And I think, that's how we've been able to manufacture some points. But, that's on us. And I think the girls knew that too. We were working, when we went on that run in the second half, that was something we really emphasized. We got to get into this flow. The ball's got to get moving. We need a pace behind how we want to play. But yeah, that is a big thing that I would take away is, if you have very low assists, either you're going to get right to the rim and you're getting wide open shots if you have low assists, or the ball's not moving. And tonight, we had to work a little bit harder in that, specifically like second half. We had some looks in the first half. I thought, even, let's see, Julia went 1 for 6 from the 3. She had some great opportunities to knock down threes for us, and maybe we didn't get those early. So those are some things we can look at too.
And then a really big positive, you guys have 33 bench points, a large part credit to Anaya. How important is your bench play going to be moving throughout conference play?
Yeah, depth is key. And we probably played, we didn't have enough playing probably tonight when it got down the stretch because, mentally it didn't look like we were pushing through like we needed to in some of those big moments. But we need the depth. We want the bench points, of course. We don't want defense to scheme off of 1 or 2 players. And we understand that depth is how you function through a longevity of a season too. You get into postseason play or get into the tournament, you don't want to be worn out by the time you get there. You want to have fresh bodies.